So first of all, we have some changes made to the medium and long ammo, which means we increase the ranges.
Yeah, so this is basically a change in preparation for the new map, but also because there have been some situations in the past where, especially like some long-range shots, like I don't know, like for example on the top of the castle in Lawson for Karmic, where sometimes it felt like this was like I had him in my sights, I shoot, I hear the headshot sound, but it was out of the range, and it just feels frustrating. So in general, this is like a change that promotes sniping gameplay a little bit more. So we've kind of broken with some of the rules that we've had hard-coded so far. So as a basically reminder, what we have been doing in the past was we've had a hard cap of 250 meters for headshots. So that means a shot could travel up to 300 meters, then the bullet would kind of like delete itself. Now that is a further range, so now goes to 500 meters in general. So you can actually hit people further out. But systemically, that also means that these 250 meter hard limit for the headshot ranges have also been increased a little bit. So this is affecting the long ammo and the medium ammo. So if you go to the medium example there, basically it goes just like a few hundred meters below that. And that means in general, bullets travel further. That doesn't mean they're so much more lethal. Like it just means that a headshot at beyond 250 meters can still kill. If you manage to hit it with a headshot, I mean, everybody who's playing with the snipers know that 250 meter headshot is not something that happens every day. So we don't think that's too much of an issue. But specifically in preparation of the new map, which has with the added verticality, quite a different way of giving you longer sightlines to specific areas. We want to take it into account. So consider this primarily not a balancing thing, because long ammo would have needed it. It's primarily just like to avoid frustrating situations, and specifically give the snipers a bit less frustrating experience for those one-hit headshots at a larger distance. So there I think we have like 2 examples you could show up quickly.
Exactly.
Just show them both maybe. Okay, it's the videos first.
Yeah.
So you can see like a very classical view. Normally you would have basically just not been able to kill the guy. Now you can. Again, like how often does such a shot happen in a game? I mean, you tell me, but I mean, for me, it happens like maybe 1 in 15 games, 20 games or so that I have an opportunity to do such a long shot. But if such an opportunity presents itself, it's a bit more rewarding, and just it feels a bit nicer.
312 meters, nice shot. Exactly, and as Dennis mentioned, we actually have some examples as well written down, so let's take a look at those. So let's say, for example, for the sparks, the effective range was 250 meters, which was the maximum, but now it's 347.
Yeah, keep in mind, effective range here is referring to the stat, and that is basically the range you can do a headshot. So effective range, if you look it up for each of the weapons, you will see these adjusted numbers there. And on the Sparks example, it will now, instead of 250, read 347 meters there. So that gives you like almost 150 meters additional range to do like a headshot at distance. So could be very nice, but I guess I don't think it will happen that frequently. But if it happens, I think it's going to be something where I would actually really like to reward the shooter by even daring such a shot. So I think that's cool.
And yeah, another example for a medium ammo, the Vetterli. So from 167 meter, the effective range increased to 184. And again, as Dennis mentioned, is the stat that you see in the menu for headshot ranges.
So again, please just look at it on the test server then for each of the weapons, go through the menu, see how they change. But obviously, like newer weapons, like we've introduced the Centennial Sniper recently, like obviously they benefit from this quite nicely because of the huge zoom of the sniper scope, and now a slightly increased effective range for that weapon. Even though it's a medium bullet weapon, I think people would appreciate that.
Exactly. And then we have other gunplay changes. And a lot of it is for the custom ammo, which we changed. To start it off, now the full metal jacket ammunition keeps damage over longer distance. So that means its effective range that we just talked about increases.
Yeah, think of it like that. Each of the weapons, when they fire, have a certain plateau in the beginning. This is like a certain distance up to which the damage does not drop at all. So I think for a long bullet projectile, I think it's around 40-ish or so meters where there's almost no significant drop in damage. And then from that point on, normal evolution of damage applies, which basically means that the further the bullet travels, the more it drips down, and depending on the projectile type, that is stronger or flatter as a curve. With Full Metal Jacket, basically what we're doing, we're extending this initial plateau, like the first few meters, before the drop down kicks in. And that means technically that each Full Metal Jacket gets a slight increase in effective range. So that means you can do headshots further out. Again, it might just be 20 meters on some gun, might be 40 meters on another gun, depends on the gun. Again, please just look at the effective range stats for the weapons. But keep in mind that if, Full Metal Jacket still has slower projectile speed than normal bullets, so actually hitting someone at that distance is much more of a challenge because your projectile just travels at a much slower range. And you also have obviously the special ammunition limit there because as custom ammo can only be supplied from the special ammo boxes.
Yeah, then it's meant slower speed, not range, but yeah.
Yeah, slower speed, yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's for the FMJ, and we have other changes for the Dragon Breath, which now causes more damage up close.
Yeah. So this is basically just looking at telemetry, looking at data. Full Metal Jacket is great for effect, but it's not greatly effective, let's put it like that. By just giving a bit of a boost up close, it's not much, just a little bit, like the burning is a bit more severe and the damage is a bit more, it actually feels a bit more competitive. It still obviously can't one-hit kill you, so it's not like the flechette change we've done in the last update, where with a headshot or most pellets hitting the head, you could actually one-hit kill a person with a flechette. This is not the case with Dragon Breath, but it's just much more of a punchy thing now, close range, so give it a try, see how it feels. It might be a bit more devastating than before.
Cool, and we also have a change made to the Dum-Dum ammunition, and it no longer has reduced damage over the regular ammo type, so when you're not using special ammo.
Yeah, so all the normal modifiers apply, which means obviously you do bleeding on hits and there's no wall penetration. But looking again at the usage values of how certain ammunition types are being used, both Dum-Dum and also the next one, the Incendiary Ammunition, have the same change of no longer having lower base damage. So they're just as effective as the regular ammunition, but obviously they drop off at the same interval or as further as the bullet travels. But the main drawback that we see is just that you can't shoot through walls with them, and that alone together with the ammunition limit is I think enough of a handicap, so that we want to just make them a bit more effective. So expect to see a little bit more Dum-Dum, a little more Incendiary around, just because you have the same chance to kill people as long as they're not behind cover.
Yeah, and as Dennis mentioned, all the other drawbacks still apply. So this is the only thing that changes about these two, not anything else. Because I saw some people asking in chat.
Yeah. Like I think they had, I can't remember it correctly. I think it was around 20-ish% lower base damage. This is what they have currently on live. So these bullets are each a little bit weaker, like Dum-Dum and Incendiary, and that's a handicap that, like a downside, we removed. So they had the same base damage, but still obviously no wall penetration, and you need special ammo boxes.
Exactly, and we also have other gunplay changes, starting with the Rival and Nitro.
Yeah, so this is just a totally cosmetic change. Again, this is we had this the last time. We talked a little bit about the animations on the Aftermath, right? In terms of how we try to make it feel believable and credible. This is also about the same thing as we did with the Sparks, where we kind of removed the hammer pull where it wasn't needed. So this is it's very similar, just mainly cosmetic change, where it's just the way how the reload happens. Where before you open it, break action, and the shells kind of like they soar out as if there was an ejector. And that is true for the Romero, for example, but actually isn't true for these old double shotguns, where you kind of have to peel out the rounds one by one. So it's just a cosmetic change, and we can quickly have a look at how it looks right now and how it will look on test server.
So this is the old for the Rival. This is how it is right now on live.
Yeah, so it kind of flows out and never really conveyed the weight of these huge like nitro shells, for example. So it's just really a cosmetic change.
And here's the new animation.
So it kind of peels them out a little bit more as they kind of get stuck there with all the fouling from the black powder. And the same has been done to the shotgun and the nitro.
Yeah, we can look at the nitro as well. So this is the old again.
They kind of shared the same animation almost, so it was easy just to do both in one go, basically. So this is how it looked before that with the one, and then the new one will be, again, peeling out the rounds one by one quickly. The timings have not changed, and if so, they have changed maybe by a frame or two, so not something that you would notice. They're pretty much the same. This is really purely a cosmetic change.
Exactly, so that was it for the animation changes for the Rival and the Nitro, but we also have some recall animation changes to the Nagant Officer.
Yes, so this is again mostly an animation change. So not the screen kick, the actual recoil, but actually what the weapon does on screen. It always felt a bit weird. There was like some weird motion in it, and it's just a bit of a cleanup on that. It doesn't change anything with the rate of fire, but it means maybe that you can actually see a bit better through the sights as the weapon doesn't do the weird twist as it tries to realign itself. Just have a look at the old one. So you can see like this bit of a weird right twist type of thing in there. It kind of like the nose kind of kicks away in a weird way.
And then we can look at the new one.
So it's much more directed, keeps the barrel pointed, etc. So fits just a bit nice. It's just minor visual polish, nothing to be too proud of, and nothing to be too important. But I think it's a nice little addition, and definitely helps clean up a little bit.
Exactly, and we also have other changes made to the Spectre shotgun. So you may remember from our last stream, I believe, where we changed the Mosin and Lebel cycle logic for reloading.
Yes.
And so now this happens to the shotgun as well.
It's the same thing basically, that if you reload before racking the slide, like before working the pump action, you press the reload button before that, it will basically be able to replace the round quickly, and basically gives you a chance to not lose a round with like if you don't have bullet grabber, for example. It's only for this particular situation. So the moment you've racked the slide, obviously, just like with the bolt actions on the Lebel and the Mosin, that opportunity is lost, but it gives you a chance to do the same thing there.
We have 2 videos for this as well.
So this is basically by default. If you just don't let it happen. And then basically if you press the reload right after firing, if you show the next video. So basically you don't lose a round because nothing has been cycled back into the chamber. The one that's being ejected is basically the empty shell, and therefore you can much easier reload. So again, a minor change. It's just something for consistency, as we did with the Lebel and the Mosin. Now it's possible to get that weapon updated as well. And actually, like John just mentioned there, yes, I personally are really liking this one because I really do play the Spectre Compact quite a lot. So yeah, good for me.
I'm not really a shotgun guy myself, to be honest. So not gonna happen. But we also have another change made to the Bornheim match. But this is just a slight damage increase because of the longer barrel.
Yeah, so this is something that we noticed as well in the statistics. Like, people are using the Bornheim. No one is using the Bornheim match. It's very, very rare. And we just wanted to give it a slight boost. So I mean, it does have a slightly longer barrel than the normal one, so you can argue that like there's more pressure being built up as the bullet can travel through. So we just gave it a slightly increase. It means that where the Bornheim can never 2-tap you, this one can at a very short range actually do that. But again, it's a medium slot, and so it's good if it gets used a little bit more.